Right, and health ministers from Ecowas states they are currently meeting in Accra to tackle the Ebola virus. The virus, which has claimed about 1,500 lives since February in 2014, is causing a scare within the sub-region. During the first meeting in July, the number of Ebola cases was 750, with 455 deaths in Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. Health ministers had asked for $10 million to combat the disease in the three affected countries within 6 months. The number of cases now stands at over 2,600, with the WHO describing the speed and extent of the outbreak in the West African sub-region as unprecedented. On closing borders and restricting travels, the WHO said such restrictions are counterproductive, but some countries are closing their borders, the last being La Côte d'Ivoire, which closed their borders with Liberia and Guinea days after banning flights from 3 countries. Gabon, Senegal, Cameroon and South Africa have taken similar measures, and that's a very difficult situation for the West African sub-region. And currently in the studio joining me is my colleague Edward Kwabi, who has been at the conference grounds to listen to what issues have been discussed so far. Edward Kwabi, you're welcome to Midday Live.
Thank you, Ken, and I'm grateful to have you.
Right. First of all, let's take a look at some of the issues that these ministers have been looking at to ensure that the disease does not really destroy the West African sub-region. Well,
issues that have been discussed are issues that are already in the limelight. They are trying to, or seeking ways to ensure that they fight the Ebola outbreak and look for ways to quickly respond to the outbreak. But let me say that we all know that Ecowas is made up of 15 member states, and of course not all the regional ministers were able to come because of the some challenges that they've been facing. So currently it is ongoing, but then the challenge has been the fact that they've not had all the member states regional ministers, that is those who are in charge of health, to come around, because there have been flight cancellations in their regions because of this same Ebola we are talking about here.
Right. So would you say that the issues of restrictions as some countries are put in place is one of the factors affecting participation of health ministers from the sub-region in this particular meeting?
Yes, it is. And President John Mahama, who happens to be the chairman of the heads of government of Ecowas member states, raised it when he gave his response as chairman. And he indicated that, in fact, one of the negative effects of Ebola in the region has been with the fact that it has affected transportation within the region, and some countries have decided to ban air flight within the sub-region. So it has been one of the issues they have been speaking about, but they are looking for ways to ensure that looking ahead they will be able to devise ways of at least allowing flights to move into some countries. But the good news that I have for you is that $60 million US has been voted for tackling the virus in the West African sub-region. Of course, that was made that statement was made by the World Health Organization, and they are saying that it is coming from African Development Bank, and they are saying that they cannot sit down for this particular virus to get into the veins of all West Africans, as we are trying to fight this whole thing, and it is affecting trade particularly. So they think that 60 million should be enough. It is a form of grant from the African Development Bank, and is going to the West African Health Organization.
Right. The money is quite huge and could do some kind of work. Initially we're talking about $10 million. Now it's moved to $16 million coming from the World Health Organization. But the issue of getting the money or accessing the money to take care of equipment, to take care of other accoutrements for fighting the disease is the issue. How soon is the money hitting these countries to begin with the fight?
Well, this particular 60 million is coming from is a collaboration between the World Health Organization and, as I said earlier, the African Development Bank, and they expect that it should be made available as soon as possible. And this is being fast-tracked because they know that this Ebola is something very something that is really eating into the society of West African states, and they are trying to fight it. So they said that this money, after they have finished with the paperwork today and all the necessary arrangements they are making, it should be going through.
Finally, before we go, just a minute of your time. What have ministers of health from these affected countries, some places like Guinea, Liberia, been saying? 30 seconds.
Well, they are worried. The basic line is that they are worried, and they think that their friends from other countries like Ghana, who are not which has not been affected yet, should be able to do something to help them.
Right. Yeah. Thank you very much for speaking to me. Edward Corby has been telling us what has been happening at the meeting of the ECOWAS health ministers talking about Ebola.